What is up, everyone? I am here with the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Return of the Jedi Speeder Bike and Scout Trooper, part of the 40th anniversary kind of sub-theme that they've got going on for Return of the Jedi. And I hope that I can finish recording this video. I've had some really bad allergies lately. Whenever I try to start talking about anything, my body decides to flood my throat with mucus, which I understand is a disgusting image, but it is what it is. So if my voice ever starts sounding weird, that's probably why. So I've had this pack for a little while now since it released. Bought it off of Amazon for $50, which is what this retails for. It retails for $45, but with taxes and shipping, I even have free shipping, but it ends up being around $50. Which is a bit overpriced. I mean, you get a speeder bike and a scout trooper, and that's it. And usually at the Black Series scale, we would get that for around $50 to $60, but now that's what it's costing at the 3 3/4 inch scale with TVC, and I don't really like that. I don't think anyone does, but I do have to say what we get here is really great. And we start off with the packaging because that's really great too. I love with the deluxe packaging, we get images of the actual figure with a nice little background. Like they actually put some thought and effort into creating the packaging. You've got the Return of the Jedi logo all over this thing, and there's a bunch of different images of the different stuff that we get here. You can see the hood does lift up, and you've even got these flaps at the back that can move, and there's some other pictures here of just the figure with the speeder bike. On the back, it's pretty much the same as the front, just with all the information at the bottom. And you do actually get a carded, unpunched Scout Trooper figure in here, which is really awesome. I've been dying to get a Scout Trooper figure. I have the Fallen Order version, but I don't really like that one. The one we get in this set, though, is actually different from that, even in its molds, and it is way better. So, taking a look at the speeder bike first, it does come with this clear stand that's attached by a ball joint at the bottom. You do actually have some other ball joints around the stand where you can connect it, so you can have it at different elevations. You can make it look like it's just parked out in the woods or something. Of course, I prefer it looking like it's actually flying around. And while this set is expensive, man, this thing does look pretty. You get a bunch of awesome paint apps on here. There's the paint shipping off. There's mud splattered across the metal. You even got these subtle little red lights going along the speeder. There's the console, which is also painted, and you've got this tan little pouch at the back. All of the sculpt work looks really nice, especially all of the parts underneath where you've got the engine and these cables and everything like that. And speaking of the engine, you can actually lift this up to reveal it, which is a really cool detail I didn't think that they would include. You've also got the flaps here at the back, which have a little bit of paint apps on them. I don't know all the technical terms for this type of stuff, but this is where the blast would come out and it would propel the speeder forward, just to put it in layman terms. And you do have these flaps here, so you can just have it look like it's changing directions or whatever. And since it is on a ball joint on this stand, you can't actually get it to move around. And while getting the figure itself to sit down on the speeder is a little bit of a hassle just because you got to get him in the right pose, it does end up looking really good when you got the feet and the pedals down here and you got the hands on the handlebar. He's got one hand with a blaster. I mean, just look at that. It looks like it's straight out of the movie. And luckily, the figure does look pretty natural seated on top of the speeder. Doesn't look silly or anything like that, which is something I really appreciate. And then taking a look at the figure, this does seem to be an all-new Scout Trooper, although it is very similar to the previous version. Here he is next to the Jedi Fallen Order version. I don't have the Jedi Survivor one. I don't know if I'm ever going to get that. But as you can see, they do look very similar, and it seems like they use a lot of the same sculpts. As you can see, the helmet is pretty different. It is a lot larger and just more accurately shaped. But the body for the Return of the Jedi one does seem to actually be larger. Although it is the same base mold, it looks like. And I don't know why exactly it's like that, but it's pretty apparent. Regardless though, this new Return of the Jedi Scout Trooper looks really awesome, even if it does use a base mold that is probably over a decade old at this point, or at least it's getting there. And I think it may actually be one of the longest lasting molds that we've seen in the 3 3/4 inch scale for Star Wars. Almost everything has moved on and gotten new iterations at this point. but the Scout Trooper is still the same as it was years ago, except for the helmet. The helmet is actually brand new on this figure, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing because this mold is pretty nice. I mean, you get all the articulation you really need for a figure like this. I mean, you only get 90 degrees at the elbow. The wrists are kind of weird in that they only can swivel, and the articulation point is like up the forearm. I don't know why it's like that. The shoulders are all good though, and you get a lot of expression out of the head. You can go up pretty far, down pretty far. You get a whole lot of wobble right there. And it's kind of the same thing with the ab crunch, but it cannot go side to side, unfortunately. Also, unfortunately, we do have ball hinges at the hips, just kind of bad articulation, honestly. And I will say the hip slash waist area of this figure does look a little bit disproportionate. I would say it's the only bad thing about this figure. Makes him look like he's wearing a giant diaper, but they kind of look like that in the movie anyways, so it's just something you kind of got to dismiss. You've got the knees, which go back that far, ankles go back that far, forward that far, and you do get an ankle pivot a little bit. And you also get the blaster in this set. It's just the basic Scout Trooper blaster, no paint apps or anything like that. And there is the holster for it down on the boot. And luckily this figure actually holds his weapon pretty well, so you don't have to worry about him dropping it at the slightest movement. And since these Scout Trooper blasters are so small, you can actually see that there's only 2 fingers up on the trigger right there, or at least in that area. So he does hold it a little bit differently than all of the rest of the blasters. Here's a look at the back of the figure. You got some more paint apps for the backpack right there and the helmet. And real quick, let's go ahead and take a look at the Scout Troopers card back that we do get in this set. It's just a normal TVC card back. It is unpunched, which is nice. The Return of the Jedi logo looks really good in the image they chose. Also looks really good. You get a really great view of the Scout Trooper on his speeder bike, and you can also see the indoor bunker in the background with the trees. Just looks really good. There's a 40th anniversary logo for Return of the Jedi. Over on the back, you can see the new wave that's about to come out. Some people have gotten it already. I still have to buy it. I don't know where I'm gonna buy it from though, because the only place it's available right now is Entertainment Earth, and it's almost $200 for the whole wave. I'd rather not pay that, and while I do want all of the figures in the new wave, I'll probably get them separately over time. I really just want to get the Clone Trooper first. That's the one I'm the most concerned about. The new Cassian Andor looks really great as well, so does Hunter, and of course I'm really excited to finally get Starkiller back. But anyways, that was the card back, and that about does it for this set. All you get here is the Scout Trooper speeder bike and the stand. Not too much, but everything here is really good, and while it is $50 US, which is kind of overpriced, you still get really great quality stuff. Anyways, it is always nice to get new stuff like this in the TVC, new vehicles, you know, stuff that we just don't normally see. And it's also really awesome that they're going to be repainting this pack as the Mandalorian speeder bike and biker scouts that we saw beating up Baby Yoda, which was probably my favorite part of the entire show so far. I'm just kidding, I don't hate it that much. I'm not even gonna get into season 3 right now. Anyways, this was a really nice set. I have almost nothing bad to say about it, other than, you know, the Scout Trooper could use an upgrade, but even then, it's still a great figure, and I would definitely recommend getting this. If you can find it on sale, that would definitely be ideal, but right now, it is still in stock for its retail price on Amazon. At least I think it is the last time I checked. So if you see it and you have the means to get it, definitely pick it up, because it's a really iconic thing from Star Wars, and we don't normally get stuff like this, so I definitely recommend it. And that's about it. I don't have anything else to say, so as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.